Good evening. We have one student that we'd like to pause this afternoon or this evening to recognize for this 2018 SCEA Read Across South Carolina Art Contest. Ethan Drew of Lamar won first place in the 2018 South Carolina Education Association's Read Across South Carolina Art Contest last spring. At the time of his award, he was a student at Lamar Elementary. He's currently a student at Spalding Elementary. In both schools, his art teacher is Ms. Dee Driggers. At this time, we're going to ask Ethan to please come forward to receive his award, and we'll ask his principal, and we're going to recognize Lamar Elementary as well as Spalding Elementary because Ms. Dee Driggers is the teacher there, and if Ms. Driggers is here, would she please come forward? We're going to also ask his parents to please stand. Okay, he's not here? All right.
All right, and we'll move forward to the next with the 2018 South Carolina State Fair Student Art Competition, which we have 3 recipients. And again, Ms. Davis, while you're standing, we'll ask you to do those as well.
All right, we have 3 Hartsville High School students who won blue ribbons at the South Carolina State Fair in the art competition this year. All 3 students are under the leadership of the art teacher, who is Ms. Jennifer Peterzak. And we're going to ask all 3 students to come forward. We'll announce their division. We're going to ask Ms. Peterzak to please come forward, along with the principal, Mr. Corey Lewis. Parents, if you would please stand. First student is Susanna Horton, who won first place in the 11th grade 3D division. The second student is Ms. Mary Hannah Parker, who won first place in the 12th grade photography division. And the third student is Farrah James, who won first place in the 2-dimensional division.
Jennifer, you just have to one student.
Stand by this.
I do.
Yes,
I did bring the other ones with me.
Okay. It's a rainy day, so we have just the one student with us today.
Good. All right, in that case,
We're just going to sit
we'll
back. We'll sit
put you
back.
right here between us.
Do that.
Put
We're
your
gonna sit.
principal right
Just
here.
sit them right here. Let's focus. I'm just here for now. We've already featured this. Could y'all take a few steps back for me?
You get all the accolades. All yours.
Get the cover off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Yeah, we have never seen.
See, good job. Yeah.
And then these are the other 2
Explanation
pieces.
of what you made. What is that?
This is Mary Hannah Parker.
Oh, that's water bottle.
Oh, it's CDs. Okay, I was looking at that mirror glass. Okay.
Very nice.
We're gonna hang those there.
We're gonna have to find space for them.
I was gonna say, what do we do with them?
No,
I
they can't go
enter them
home.
in the entranceway of the high school.
Thank you very much.
That one's
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Will you show them the board? Did you show the board the other 2 winning pieces?
Yes, I did, yes.
Did this side see?
And I did bring the honorable mentions that came to, and
I guess you wanna keep them.
well, I was talking about doing an interview.
Jennifer, let me take
Oh,
care
okay.
Please come with me.
Oh, Jennifer.
Now, at this time, I would like to ask Mr. Johnson to come up and present our South Carolina High School League 4A State Golf Champions. I'll turn it over to Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. It was a great honor to have the opportunity to introduce the first female 4A state champion from Hartsville High School, Miss Emma Charles. Ms. Charles defeated another student from Travelers Rest. She will be signing with Anderson College as of Thursday at 11 o'clock. We have her father father, Mr. Steve.
Come on up, Bess. Get a picture, and then we want to get you in a picture, okay?
This does mean like best in the entire state, is what it
It's,
means, right?
yes. And she's the first female from Hartsville High School.
Maybe y'all take a step back, please. All right, ready?
He was
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, we missed her. Well, good. Yeah. You get beside your daughter, I'm gonna come over by this guy here.
Stand beside her.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations to all of our winners, and it always makes the board very proud, obviously, when we have accomplishments like that. So again, congratulations once again to all of you. Next on the agenda, I guess I would like to ask if the board would like to take A through Q for first reading for all policies. Excuse me. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Let's back that up. Here, let's start off today. First of all, you have before you the JKER expulsion of students policy. This is for second reading. So do we have one motion to approve? Second? Any discussions or comments on second reading? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, likewise, motion carried. Now, I apologize. B through Q for first reading. We have the motion. I move in. That was first. We have a second from Ms. Thomas. All in favor, aye?
Well,
Yes.
could we correct the,
Spelling.
yeah, there's a spelling. It's item L, under transfer course, line number 4, and it's course instead of O course.
Because she's gone through every policy in the manual, I believe, so you did good. So, we have a motion to approve with that correction, and we have a second. All in favor, aye? Opposed, likewise, motion carries. All right, guys. Okay, next on the agenda will be reports and administration presentations. And the first item, we have our next board work session, which will be held Monday, November 26, 2018 at 6 p.m. in room 3 of the Darlington County School Administrative Offices. The next board meeting will be held December the 10th, 2018 at 6 p.m. in the training board room at the Darlington County School Administrative District Offices. And then finally, you have monthly budget reports and all the information, revenue and expenditure statements have been given to you prior to. You've had a chance to review them. Any questions or comments? Concerns? Anything? None. Mr. Douglas, the comments for us will do. All right. That being said, we will turn over to the superintendent for the superintendent's update.
Chairman Morpheus, members of the board, members of our audience. I would like to start off superintendent's report acknowledging Veterans Day and the official Veterans Day celebration. Although the district and schools have had lots of celebrations over the past week, I've been able to attend several of them. I was over at Pate on Friday. Hartsville High School also had one on Thursday that I was over, and we've just had several honoring our veterans. And I would personally like to honor the veterans that are in here at this meeting today for their service to our country. So if you have served our country, would you please stand and be recognized, including our board members? Your service. Next thing I wanted to bring up is that the new report cards will be releasing this week. Thursday is the public release for the school report cards. We've not had school report cards since 2014, so this is the first time in 4 years that the state of South Carolina will be issuing those. There is a Wednesday release to media, I believe, but they will release fully to the public. I can tell you, up to this moment, there's still lots of discussion on how to interpret the new information that's on the report cards. And a meeting I was at last week, as a matter of fact, is they're still trying to make sure all of the data and information is there to have complete report cards as well. So we are certainly hoping that everything is there. We've had a chance to look at a lot of our preliminary information as well and make changes. What's different about the report card this time around is it's pulling information from many different surveys, data sources, and some of the information is from last year, for example, but some of the information is from several years ago. So once all that information comes out, we certainly will have explanations on the website and also for the board on what the information is, what years it is from, and then how it impacted our schools in the district. So we are anxiously awaiting the release. Also wanted to mention that we are currently in the midst of having data meetings with our principals and senior leadership. So we're making rounds. We've already had our first round of map testing and some assessments also that we've had looking at the achievement for our students and getting a handle on what our schools and principals are directing our teachers to work on. And so those are going well. Over the next several weeks, we'll complete those. But again, it's just keeping us very intentionally focused on how our students are doing and where they stand today, and the information that they've learned up to now. We still have a weather day that's hanging out there that we've not addressed. We were out on October 11th, if y'all remember, for a weather day, which was the same week that we had actually taken care of all the other weather days and put those to bed. So we still have one that we will need to address at some point. There's no need to do that in the next few weeks, but certainly between now and Christmas we'll need to address that and then hope that we don't have any more weather days in the future. I did want to mention that both the Hartsville and Lamar football teams are in the second round of playoffs. Football playoffs. They'll be playing this Friday. We wish both of them the best of luck, and hopefully as they continue to push through. And then lastly, I wanted to mention that we do have a construction meeting tomorrow, the bi-monthly construction meeting that have taken place. We'll be tomorrow at the normal designated time. And that's what I have for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the board member input. Mr. Delane, you want to lead us off tonight? You're gonna come back to
A committee.
All right. Dawson?
Just congratulations to the winner. And one, that's it.
Bob?
Congratulations to the winner. I wish Lamar and Hartford the best of luck in the playoffs. I did your best.
Mr. Govan?
In addition to what they have for now, I would like to congratulate Ms. Wallace in being selected as our fraternity citizen of the year, which means that she has the opportunity to now go to the to the regional, which would then be North and South Carolina, to be considered for the Citizen of the Year award.
For your fraternity?
Yes, for our fraternity. Right. That's it.
Congratulations. Mr. Thompson?
I just want to thank all the schools for all the veteran celebrations that were held from Friday through today. I mean, it was great to be out in all the schools and in the classrooms and seeing the kids and their energy and excitement and appreciation of what we did. Also, sadly, we lost Dr. Timms, who was our former CFO, who filled in for us kind of during a big time of need and really helped our district tremendously, and his death was a loss, and we just want to remember him in our thoughts and as we move forward, because he did a lot for this district, and we greatly appreciate all he did. He will be sorely missed.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Major Atwood and Mr. Wright, who's our band director in Lamar. They helped with the Veterans Day celebration in Lamar for the Civitan Club, and the band performed, and the ROTC guys, they performed, and we appreciate what they did, and I think they performed at some of the other schools also, so they do a wonderful job, and we really need to, recognize them more than we actually do. And also, the Taste of Spalding was held, and Ms. Jones and her crowd did a wonderful job there, and thank her for that, and we appreciate what they do there. And all our principals, we appreciate what they do. And I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving.
I'd like to ditto on pretty much everything that's been said by the other board members, especially Dr. Timms. He was a veteran also, other than what he had did in life. So we pass on the condolences to his family. Dr. Newman, the pickup line in front of the district office for the high school, I was just sort of looking at it the other day, and it's, I guess a couple of years, it get a little crowded sometimes, so I don't know if there's anything we can do to reshift that.
We'll take a look at it.
The DCIT issue, and I think we all agree, we need to sort of be redundant on notifying the students about the finance advantage of going that way. So the dollar signs throughout the district, I think, will help. I was out for the session this past month, and the kids still is excited. Then again, some was sort of unattended, but they was there with it, because it's very important to sort of see what's going on. That was a good session. The skill that's available. The 2019, the grading system that we just talked about. Who's the people that sort of put all that together?
It's the Education Oversight Committee.
Okay.
And so that's pretty much who tasked everybody with the different areas that are on the report card. State Department obviously made recommendations and suggestions. Not all of them were necessarily taken. Some of them were, some of them were not, but at the end of the day, this is driven by our Education Oversight Committee.
Did we get input from you guys?
There were opportunities for input. There were opportunities for input. I will say that I think all of us agree, Mr. Delane, that accountability helps us stay focused. But I also think that the accountability that is specific to schools and districts, the best people that can talk about that are the ones that are working it.
Right.
And the ones that have their boots on the ground, so to speak, every day. So I think there were some wins with the high school and how we're identifying success in high schools. I think for our lower grades, when 90% is decided specifically on a test that's given once a year, I think we've got some more work to do there.
Okay. That sounds good, because I guess we all is sort of eagerly waiting what the results going to be, since we out there for 3 years without anything, pretty much.
Yes, sir.
And those results, I feel that maybe sort of misleading, based on all the changes that we have to go through pertaining to testing and everything else.
And I think the other thing that concerns me, I was at a meeting with all the superintendents a week ago, and we were being told that not all the information is there to release the report card. So, essentially you could have areas of this report card that have data and how you measured, and then other areas that say NA,
Right.
not available. And so I think when you haven't done something for 4 years, you probably need to do it the right way when you come out with it.
I would think so.
And I have some concerns about how that's going to be messaged, especially being new, being very different than what it's been in the past. Again, everybody in this room that works for the school district is open to accountability and welcomes it because we know we need to do what's best for our kids. I hope that information is shown on this report card.
And just the idea of the public don't get misled by the information. They have a good understanding of how it come about.
To your point, Mr. Delaney, that same superintendent's meeting, they had somebody do a statistical explanation of the data curve variance to 83 superintendents. It was 8 pages long, and at the end of it, everybody realized somebody's got to explain this to our parents.
Right.
And we were having a difficult time wrapping our heads around 8 pages worth of statistical analysis. So I think what's going to be very important is to help get as much information out as possible on how to read the report card and interpret the data and understand where the data, what year it came from,
Right.
and how it applies to our schools today.
Super, Doctor, and for yourself and the principals and the public specifically, understanding that and not jump to conclusion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Again, I'm going to be brief. Again, Dr. Timms, we can't recognize that enough. He was did a lot to the district the years that he served, and then coming back and helping us in the times of need when we were without a CFO, and then with our new CFO with the transition. So definitely remember Dr. Timms and his family. And just kind of a pat on the back, I guess, for a little bit. You know, we haven't had but what, a little over a quarter, I guess, of the year we've gone through with the block scheduling. We've had a new superintendent. We've gone through a lot of changes, a new assistant superintendent, another administrative staff, and CFO. We've had a lot of change, but I have to say, I don't think I've ever been involved with an entity, whether it be a board or through work, private sector, where we've had so much change with so much or lack of any complaints or problems and issues that we've heard. Now, don't get me wrong, I know you're battling it without question, but I have to commend our principals and the staff in their buildings for working with the new administration. Again, when we had smooth transition, I heard a lot more than what we're hearing right now. I don't know if everybody's just so busy working with this new schedule and everything, they don't have time to complain, but I'll be quite honest, I appreciate and I thank the staff, the administrative district staff, as well as the branch, I call it the branch staff, the principals and the schools, for cooperating and working with him. You know, come in and have someone new with new structure, totally new structure, but it's structure that I think we needed. I think everyone's bought into it and said, okay, let's give the guy a chance, and I think that's the best thing we can do. And so again, I applaud y'all for working with the new superintendent, and I also have to applaud him, his visibility in the community. He's kind of hit the ground running. He's had a lot to do here in the offices, I know, with the existing staff and introducing himself and his plan of action. But while he's doing that, he's also spent a lot of time in the community. I know because I could probably regurgitate his talks right now as many times as I've heard him. Everywhere I go, he seems to be the speaker for some reason or somehow. But it's a great message he's conveying, and it's being well received by the community. He's got the business and industry, manufacturing community behind him. There's a lot of momentum right now with what we're doing in the schools. And again, we've got a long way to go, we know that, but I do think we're on a good path, and I think by working together, I think we'll certainly get there a lot faster than what we had anticipated. And I'll also just comment on the relations that he's been building, the bonds he and Mr. Smith have been building with the business and industry community. I think will do wonders, not for the district as much as it will for our community. We've got a tremendous amount of opportunity in the community in terms of needs for jobs, but yet we have not seemed to produce that skilled workforce. We're coming together with them. They're telling us what their needs are, and I think we're responding as quickly as we can. But that's very promising to see the opportunities for our kids going forward. He always used this statistic or whatever, the rough statistic of 70% of the kids will not go to a four-year college. Well, what are they going to do? Well, 70% is the majority of our population, folks. So that needs to be a main focus and concern, and that is something where he's steering us right now, because we've got jobs for these people. We just have to produce that product for those jobs. So with that being said, the big thing is just commending our staff, our principals for working through this. Thank you for giving him the benefit of the doubt thus far, and let's just see where this takes us. And again, to the new administrative staff, again, welcome, and thank you all for working together. But that's all I've got. No one else has anything else? Yes.
There's one thing I was mentioning. The Darlington High School, when you come in to the football field and so forth, the big issue is some few years ago, and they put a sliding gate there in front of the dumpster. And I don't think it's being used like it should be to sort of camouflage that area. I think it's a sliding gate or whatever.
All right, anyone else, anything? All right, in that case, we'll move on to the next item, which will be personnel actions. And now look for a motion to approve the personnel actions as presented with any addendums, which I don't think there are any. There is an addendum.
No, I will accept it.
I was trying to pull it up. Is yours coming up? I'm sure Miss Sigmund's got me blocked again. She does this for fun to make me look dumber than I am. All right, so we've got a motion. Has anyone had a chance now to look at that? Okay.
Make a motion to accept the actions and with the addendum.
Motion second, Ms. Thomas. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Those opposed, likewise. Motion carried. At this time, I will accept a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of contractual and personnel matters. Motion second. Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Thank you.